We have a population of about 8 million, and of that 8 million, we're actually only reaching about 4.5. So we've got a long way to go. As far as my business, or Kina Securities business, to expand into this digital world, we need more infrastructure. Now, somebody's going to have to provide that infrastructure. And that's where the private sector and public sector have to work together to make that happen. But all of us have the same problem. It's therefore what we need is a change. And it's a big sea change. And the sea change is to basically provide surety for those long-term savings to be redirected into infrastructure where they get a fair return and surety of their money. PPPs are totally necessary. Without PPPs, it's not going to happen. I would say there's 3 sustainable economies. Australia is one of them, even though there's a massive reliance on extraction industries for its wealth. But the world's not going to drop a demand for its resources 30% in 5 minutes. It's going to be a very gradual process. Therefore, and what does that link to? It links to China. I think China growth is going to be there, and we need a healthy USA. We need a healthy China. Integration of APEC economies as a trading bloc, very difficult to achieve, is very noticeably blocs are forming amongst the APEC economies that have common interests, common culture, or share the same land boundaries. Example, Mexico, Chile, Peru. Those things are happening more and more now. So mainly because they have a common interest. When you try to do a holistic agreement, which encapsulates 21 countries, you've got 21 cultures, 21 ideals, 21 different political regimes, 21 thousands of regulations that aren't harmonized in any way whatsoever. Very difficult. What you got is a spaghetti bowl of, I would say, plurilateral agreements. Not bilateral, but plurilateral agreements. Will that eventually lead to NEFTA? Yes, but on a very long term. And integration can only occur, in my opinion, at that high level when there is some balance of economic growth amongst the 21. I think there'll be more of these plurilateral agreements that will be hubbing, and I think those hubs will lead to good things, long as those hubs do not discriminate too heavily against those members who aren't in the hub. Because really, that's really what causes these multilateral agreements, is that you can't afford not to be there. But that's not a good reason to do it. Because at the end of the day, you've got to sell it to your people. And you can only sell it to people if there's an economic gain. You can't improve your lifestyle unless you have the capacity to borrow, or they have the capacity to manipulate your funds. And that includes earning income off your funds, participating in equity transactions, which usually goes through a banking system. So all those things are now very critical. So society is demanding that. Basically, that's the type of people we want in all of Asia-Pacific region. People who drive themselves through passion, because it's passion that will bridge the divide between the haves and the have-nots and create the middle class. Can you teach creativity? The answer is no. Can you really teach entrepreneurs to be entrepreneurs? The answer is no. What you have to do is provide the platform for them to play around in. And that's the key. Innovation happens when there's a freedom of mind, freedom of thought, and freedom of ideas.